Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is the second video in today's show, I guess. It's not really a show, but today's video for Friday. So in the previous video, I talked about obviously the miners, Bitcoin, in a little bit more detail, which covered CleanSpark, their operations update for January. And we took a look, obviously, at all the Bitcoin miners, see how they did in stocks. If you want to take a look at that video as well after this one, the information is there. And here we're going to cover two stories. One is a bipartisan bill has been proposed for taxes on small Bitcoin transactions. We'll take a look at that really quick. And then we'll also take a look at Hive, which also provided their numbers for January. And then that should call it a day for the day. All right. So as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams and spam posts get reported and deleted. And I'm invested in the following companies and coins for full disclosure. All right, we'll take a quick peek here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has obviously gone way up today, had a huge day. It's been a fun day. Last 24, 40 hours have been kind of a roller coaster ride. We went up, we went down, we came way back up, so it's been fun. It is now at 42,171. It's always, I think, puts a smile on everybody's face when Bitcoin is going up. It's always more fun to talk about. You get a little bit more energized about it than when it's going down and down and down, which we've been kind of going down in the past couple months here. So it's kind of nice to see it. Maybe the start of a nice little rally here in Bitcoin. Ethereum as well. Ethereum is up almost at 3,000, back to that level almost. So I'm hoping that we continue on this nice little bull run that we're on. We'll see if this is short-term lived or if it's going to be a long-term bull rally throughout this year. So let's get into the main story, or not the main story, but the first story, which is a bipartisan bill, is to eliminate the small taxes for small Bitcoin transactions. So the proposed legislation seeks to reduce friction in usage of Bitcoin as a daily currency, which I think is a bullish indicator. More adoption, obviously, it means price appreciation and all that stuff. So a bipartisan bill introduced Thursday would exempt Bitcoin transactions from tax obligations if the associated capital gains are $200 or less, seeking to incentivize the digital currency's usage as a medium of exchange in the U.S. economy. Currently, any gain obtained from the sale of cryptocurrency must be reported as a taxable income regardless of the size or purpose of the transaction, which is a drag. So here's a quote from somebody here. Antiquated regulations around virtual currency do not take into account its potential for use in our daily lives, instead treating it more like a stock or an ETF, said Representative Susan Delbene, co-author of the bill, in a statement sent to Bitcoin Magazine. However, virtual currencies has evolved rapidly in the past few years, with more opportunities to use it in our everyday lives. This common sense bill cuts the red tape and opens the door to further innovations, ultimately growing our digital economy, which is great news and good to see. Obviously, we want to see the whole bill. The Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act was co-authored by Representative David, if I butcher your name, I'm sorry, Shawikart, and co-sponsored by Representative Darren Soto and Tom Emmer. Virtual currency is reshaping our everyday lives, and the United States needs to recognize this and work to treat these currencies fairly in our tax code. Shawikart said in a statement, "This legislation is an important step forward, and it lays the groundwork for growing the digital economy," which I completely agree. So using Bitcoin as a payment method entails a sale for the Internal Revenue Services, as the payer disposes of part of its BTC holdings in exchange for a good or service. If the funds being spent had been acquired at a lower US dollar price, the difference would be characterized as capital gains, of which reporting and taxing would be required, which is true, and it is a pain. So the legislation seeks to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to remove these requirements when the capital gain observed doesn't exceed $200, hence specifically targeting smaller transactions in a push to incentivize or at least better enable usage of Bitcoin as a means of payment in the U.S. So I'm all for it. If it gets passed, that's going to be great because it does obviously allow us to transact in Bitcoin and possibly other cryptocurrencies as well. So hopefully they don't just make it for Bitcoin alone, but hopefully they make it for other currencies as well, Ethereum, Dogecoin, whatever they might be. So this is great news. One little step up is what we're kind of going for here. It's going to take 1,000 steps in the right direction to get Bitcoin price up to possibly $1 million one day. Who knows when, if that ever happens. All right, finally, we got Hive news to talk about for their production updates for January. So Hive Blockchain provides January 2020 production updates. This news release constitutes designated news release, So the company's global Bitcoin and Ethereum mining operations for the month of January 2022, with a BTC HODL balance of 2,043 Bitcoin and 25,404 Ethereum as of January 31, 2022. Here are the figures for their mining capacity. So 264 BTC produced. This is from their ASIC miners. 1.87 exahash of Bitcoin mining capacity. This is also for their ASIC miners. And 2,170 Ethereum equivalent produced. So that's for their GPU miners, for Ethereum miners. And it's basically 4.56 terahash of Ethereum mining capacity, which is good as well. Hopefully Bitcoin and Ethereum both go up in price. Now, let's see here. So in January, we produced an average of 8.5 BTC per day. And we are pleased to note that as of today, we are producing approximately 8.9 BTC a day. So they've obviously increased. I got some more miners. And today was, when did they report this? I think they reported this today. So this would be the 4th. Let me see here. So 10% hash rate of 1.8 exahash, 10% increase over the month. And here we go. So here they talk about their Bitcoin and Bitcoin equivalents. So as such, Ethereum that Hive produced during the month of January equated on a daily basis is approximately equal to a monthly total of 161 BTC, which we refer to as Bitcoin equivalent or BTC equivalent. This is in addition to the 264 BTC produced from our Bitcoin mining operations during January, for a total of 425 Bitcoin equivalents produced. So here's their information for the Bitcoin equivalent production. So 425 BTC equivalent produced, 13.7 BTC equivalent produced per day on average, and 2.9 exahash of BTC equivalent hash rate, BTC hash rate plus equivalent Ethereum hash rate. They go on to talk in here on the network mining difficulty and energy markets. So this is kind of interesting to note as well. So the Bitcoin network difficulty increased as much as 10%, and similarly, the Ethereum network difficulty increased approximately 7.5% during the month of January. These factors impact our gross profit margins. Our January production would have been higher than actuals. However, the extreme cold weather in Canada has caused Quebec Hydro to cut back 100 hours of energy consumption. So you got, what is it, almost 4 days, 24? Yeah, almost 3.5 days. Basically, they were down. So under a curtailment agreement, the seasonal curtailment affects numerous crypto mining companies operating in Quebec, along with Hive. In addition, the New Brunswick we are experiencing has expected a temporary seasonal rise in energy prices. We are happy we have continued to expand our facilities, and new equipment has arrived during the month to increase our petahash to 1.87 for BTC mining. Okay, so they were basically shut down for 100 hours, 24, so 4 days and some. So we'll take that out basically in their numbers here, and we'll take a look at the numbers now. So here is Hive. So they reported they were shut down for 4 days. So they were basically mining for 27 days this month, roughly. So we'll get nice, accurate numbers here. So that was actually good. 27 days. 27 days of mining. 27. Bear with me while I update this really quick so we can get the most accurate numbers that we can for them. So I wonder if Hut 8 also had to do this because of the curtailment. Maybe we'll see that. I'll have to take a look at their release again for Hut 8. Okay, so we got them at 27. Here are the miners that we basically installed this past month in January. So 500 of the 79 or the 80 terahash miners. We have those at 20 days. I explained how I figured this out before. It's basically going through and figuring how many miners they would have installed during the month, how much it would take for them to install, a fraction of those each and every day to get up to that number. And then that averages out to be about 20 days of mining during a month, given month. So we got those. We also have these here 100 terahash miners, 300 of those. And then the 98 terahash miners, 80 of those. And that was it for the month here. Everything else is 2020. Yep. Okay. So that's what we got for them right now. They are right now about to be making 15.8 million for the month. We do have them at 1.87 exahash on the ASIC miners. And if we look at their production numbers here, they had a slight increase, obviously, for Bitcoin mines. This is the Bitcoin mined equivalent, 425. They had 423 in December, so a slight increase of 2 Bitcoins for the month, which is a small, very small increase of 0.47, less than 1% increase in production. And they need to obviously stay above that. If we are seeing a 10% increase in hash rate difficulty, they need to be above the 10% basically, and installing new miners to keep growing and outpacing the decline in price, as happens when Bitcoin's hash rate grows up. You're obviously making less. Okay, that's a lot of stuff to spit out here. So going forward, obviously all of these miners that are in will be going in for February. Then once we get February numbers, we'll add the February numbers in, and we'll get more complete data for the quarter. And we'll get I'm hoping to be within 1% of where they report and where I have them at, possibly mining. That is my goal when I did this, to go by month and by day. I want to be as accurate as possible I could be. So we'll see if that actually plays out, or if I'm off a little bit more than that. If I'm within 2.5%, I'll be happy actually. What else can I show you here? Okay, so let's take a look at their Bitcoin hodl position. So the Bitcoin hodl position is 2,043. This is basically valued at 84 million right now. So it's 11% of their market cap. So their hodl position is 11% of that. Per share, we're basically paying 22 cents per share for their hodl position right now. And if we look at their market cap minus hodl, we're looking at 680 million. Their ASIC value, I'm not including in that their GPU miners, because their GPU miners, they already had a bunch of those installed. They got some new chips for those this last year to get them from 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes. I think they also bought some. I'm sure it's probably worth close to maybe 15 million on that, if not more, for the GPUs. Especially with the GPUs being so highly priced right now, we could possibly be even higher than that. So if we combine those together, we're at 200 million possibly. So the remaining would be roughly 475 million. And this is just a ballpark here. So they're looking to be making 207 million if everything stayed the same with Bitcoin. Hash rate stayed the same, price stayed the same for the remainder of the year. They didn't get any miners in. This is what they would be making right now for the full year. So that gives us basically a price to earnings, future earnings. That would be 2.53 to get them to this price here. So we're basically investors are basically paying 2.53 future earnings based on what they're making now, and subtracting all this other stuff from it, from their market cap. I hope this makes sense. It is a little bit confusing. There's a lot of going back and forth and things like that. What else can I show you? In the previous video, if you look at the CleanSpark one, you would see that they were at 5.9, something like that. And that is basically because we do have 1.87 exahash of ASIC mining. If I include the GPU equivalent mining to that, which would get them to the 2.9 exahash, you will see that this $8,491 per petahash would actually be closer to what like CleanSpark is and some of the other guys. So if we increase that to 2,900, you would see that it'd be pretty close to that. I think CleanSpark was around 5.9 or 5.8, something like that. So we're pretty close to it. It all depends on your hash rate and the number of miners you have and everything else. So it's something to be mindful of. Let's see here. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so that gets us back to here. Wait a minute, did I just change something here? Did I change something to 31? Yep, I did. 27 days. There we go. So that is something that we're going to track as well, going month to month, see how they're doing on that. And let me see if there's anything else that I want to show you. So right now, based on where the price of Bitcoin is, I'm using the 41,500 price for Bitcoin for February. And then for the January numbers, we're using obviously 38,491, which was roughly the ending price for Bitcoin then. If we look at, where did it go? Here it is. So we're looking at possibly them making the 207 million. We're looking at a stock price of possibly $8.13 using the 20 price earnings multiple and the 75% net from gross income. And if we look at it here, we're looking at the last 3 quarters plus what's possibly going to be for this quarter, the 50 million for this quarter. We're saying that it's going to be about a combined total of 176 million. But this is obviously going to go up because we're going to get more miners in than February and March. So this number should go up a little bit, not much, maybe 255, and depending where Bitcoin price is and everything else, that is obviously going to affect it as well. But based on the information that we do have now, we're looking at 50% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at $4.60 at price earnings of 20. And if we look at 75% net income from gross and price earnings of a multiple of 20, we're looking at $6.90 for the stock, where the stock should be really. And we're only at $2, so we are way undervalued on that. So yeah, that is it. Nice little small increase, obviously not as nice as some of the other guys have had as far as their hash rate growth. So I would like to have seen those numbers go up a little bit more than they did. But overall, an increase is an increase, so it's not bad. Hopefully February, March will bring in more. They can hopefully be also mining for longer days than the 27 days that they were mining in January, because it's obviously cold. So you have that happening. So we'll just have to see how things play out. But that's it. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought of everything. Obviously, interesting story about the bill being proposed with Bitcoin being easier for it to be used as a currency, more or less. So great finish to the week, I think, in Bitcoin, not only the miners. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, how they did versus Bitcoin for the week. As far as price appreciation, obviously, Bitcoin has finished out strongly on the week. So did a lot of the miners. So it'll be fun to see if we can get another week in the green for everybody. And then hopefully we can get to 4 weeks being in the green, which is the end goal. And then 4, 8, 12 weeks in the green, which is the ideal goal. So that's it. All right. No more rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell. Helps me out tremendously. I do appreciate you guys watching so very much. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Have a great one. Bye.